Hello everyone, in this video we are going to create this custom component tag using React. You can add new tags here, for example, new tag. You can edit the last tag if you press backspace, edit it. You can delete them by clicking on them, and as you can see there is a little button to add the new tag. So let's jump into the tutorial and see how we can achieve this. So first step is going to be to create the project itself. I've already done that here and I've named it custom tags. So you're gonna need npx to create this by going into command prompt, or you can do that inside the Visual Studio because you have already a command prompt integrated in here. You can type npx create React app and name it whatever you want. Um, Keep in mind that if you're going to use npx, you have to install the node on your computer, otherwise it's not going to work. Okay, since I've already done that, let's get into the coding. Let's get rid of this first. I don't need this. It's a boilerplate, so there's going to be a lot of boilerplate-ish stuff here. And get rid of this. We don't need that. And as always, let's type something here, make sure everything works. Yep, working. We're going to need a little bit of styling here. I'm going to use this color for this project, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove this. Inside the root, I'm going to define some variables. Um, Oops. Let me check the colors first. I'm going to use this. Okay, so let's go on. I had to open the door, sorry. I'm going to define some variables. I'm going to use this one for background, and like this, and this one maybe for the primary one. Yeah, maybe, why not? Sorry, primary, and this, and this one is going to be secondary. Okay, so I need to use this, and we're good to go. Next step is going to be center everything and apply some background color for the app div. So let's get back into here and type app background equals to variable background. Here we go. Oh, what's the problem? Well, it was not refreshing. Yeah. We have to save this over here too. Let's get back in here. I'm going to change this to position absolute, because we are going to make it stretch all over the place. Left 0, top 0, width is going to be 100%, height is going to be 100% too, and we are good to go. So let's center this text over here and change the color maybe. We don't need to change the color right now because we're not going to use any H2 or P or anything or text actually inside the app container, but it's all right. Okay, so let's change the display to flex and justify content center and align content center to. There you go, it's right in the center. Now we have done that, we're going to create the component itself. So in order to do that, I'm going to create a new file called custom tags.js and another file called custom tags.module.css as we're going to use it. Let's get back over here and create our component, React component, and we're going to need the props, and we need to import the styles here. Import styles from this. Here we go, and that's pretty much it. So basically we're going to need a bunch of tags and a placeholder which we could type in, and when we press enter, the entered text going to be added to the tags. So we need to use state here. So in order to use that, I'm going to import use state from React, and I'm going to create state here. State. I'm gonna call these tags. Tags, and the initial state is going to be, let's give it some values first. We are going to declare this as empty, but for now we're going to give it some value, for example React and Shaheen. Okay, since we have this, we are going to need another state for to manage the typing status. So I'm going to use state again here, and I'm calling this typing. It's a boolean, it's going to be a boolean. For now it's false. The next one is going to be use state edit last. I'm a little bad at naming, so you can call those whatever you want. I'm going to call this edit last. It's going to be false. Just be patient. You will understand why we need this one at the end, because I can give you a short description about it. Actually, it's going to be, it's managing if we are going to edit the last tag inserted or what, you know. Just as I say, if we go further, you're going to understand this in a good way. So if we created that, let's insert some tags. We're going to render this one, render this state, this array of strings into the component using this tags.map, and we're going to pass the tag into the current namespace and return the the class name. It's going to be styles.tag, and it's going to need a key. I'm going to do this over here, t and I. The I actually gives us the index of the current map. Is going to loop into here. Whatever is in here, it's going to loop over it, iterate over it, and as we go on, it could give us the current loop's number actually. So I'm going to pass that into the into the key, sorry. And for the value, I'm going to use the, let me close this first. For the value, I'm going to use the t, or the tag itself. And I think we are good to go. If I save this and come here, and we should use the component over here, custom tags. It should be fine. Yeah, we got this too. So let's style it a bit. Let's go back to the custom tags module.css and style stuff. Oh, we need to create a component here. Let me close this. We need to create a div called container for this purpose. Styles.container. I forgot this. Now we're good to go. Let's get back over here and style the container. I'm going to change the display to flex, and give it a little bit gap between them. Gap is going to be maybe 1 rem. Yeah, that's fine. Next step is going to be we're going to make it wrap. I think it's called flex wrap. Yeah, and it's wrap. So basically, what it does, it makes the elements wrap and break into the new lines instead of stretching the web and cause us to scroll it, you know. It's good for now. I'm going to style the tags themselves right now, so we get a better visualization here. Tags. The tag is going to be display flex, because we are going to center this. Justify content center, align content item center, and we're going to give it a background color of primary, I guess. Primary. And let me save this. Yeah, it's working. Padding for top, it's going to be 0.5 rems into 1 rem. For the sides, that's good. Let's give the border radius of 10 px. That's good too. Let's change the font size into 1.2 rems. That's good too. Let me come over here and change the font to font family to Brixton. I have this font installed on my computer. If you want it to be used on every computer under the web, those who don't have the font already, you have to import the font inside your project. I'm not going to do that because I have this and it's all for the styling purpose. We're not going to teach how to import the fonts here. Okay, and change the font weight to bold. Bold seems fine here. Okay. So now we have this. We're going to need another element here inside our custom tags component. So let's come over here and we're going to need a plus here. So when we click on the plus, we get a placeholder which we could type and press enter and add a new tag here. So I'm going to declare both of them, the plus and the placeholder here, and then we use the conditional rendering to hide one of them, you know. So let's come down here, and for the plus sign I'm going to use span actually and call it class name new styles dot new tag btn, and there's going to be a plus inside. We are going to style that in a few, and another span for the placeholder. Actually, we could use inputs here, but since we need to the text placeholder change the size relative to the content of it, so we're going to use span with the attribute of content editable content. It's an attribute supported in, I guess, 95% of the browsers right now, so that's kind of good idea to use it. It's a fun way, it's a fun trick to use. Editable content editable, and class name of styles dot new tag, and there you go. And for now I'm going to put something inside this, put some text. For example, React is fun, and as you can see I can edit that. So let's style those. We got new btn here and the new tag here. Let's go back here, paste them, make them classes inside the css file. Now we are good to go and style those. For the new btn I'm going to give the width of 1 rem maybe. Oh, let's first give it a background so we can see this size actually. Background colors are going where, secondary maybe, and yeah, that's good. And height of 1 rem 2. Oh, that's so small. Maybe 3 rems. It's too big, and 2, yeah, 2 is fine. To make it like a circle, we're going to give it a border radius of 50%, not 500, and change the display to flex, and justify content to center, and justify align to align content item to center, and it's right in the middle. To make it stand actually in the middle line here, it's stick to the top. We're going to give it a margin of, for top and bottom it's going to be auto, and for the sides it's 0 actually, and it's going to be centered or not. Actually, I think we could use that here with the center that with the container here actually. Yeah, we could Set the align items on the container because it's a flex on center and it will center everything for us. So let's do that. Let's get rid of this over here inside the container. Since it's display flex, I'm going to align items on center and it's good to go. Yeah. So let's move on to the font itself. We're going to change the font size to maybe 3 rems. It's good actually. 2.8 maybe. Yeah, that's fine. Change the color to white and let's center that. Line height 0. It's a bit off the mark. We could maybe, I don't know. Let me check this. It's too big actually. Let me change this to 2 rems. And over here, let's see if we can change this over here. Line height is set to 0. It's actually good. Yeah. Keep in mind that we could use emojis too. Emojis are a fun way to style your components and stuff like this. The plus emoji is not a good idea here because I've tested that already, but let's take a look at it. Plus, heavy plus sign, if you see it, you can use this. But it's too big, and actually we could use the font size to change the font, change the size of this plus, but I rather to use the plus itself rather than the emoji. So one other thing, we need to change the cursor when it hovers over it. You need to change to the pointer. So cursor is going to be pointer, and yeah, it's good now. We need that for tags too, because when we click on the tags, we are going to remove them. So having the cursor changed to the pointer is a good idea. Yeah, it's good. Now let's move on to the placeholder here. New tag. It's going to be exactly like this, like the tags, but there is a key difference between them. That this one is going to be relative to the content, and you can actually edit that, edit what's inside it, and its color is going to be same as this one. So I'm going to go over here and copy this, paste them over here, and we are going to get rid of this outline here, like this. New tag on focus, we set the outline to none, and now if we click here, there is no outline. So next step is going to be, you can see that if we change this, it changed with that. And the wrap is useful here. If we don't set the wrap here, let me give you a quick overview with the flex wrap. If I comment this out, you can see it stretches the page as we typing. So we're going to enable the wrap so it goes on, it breaks the line. Now let's remove this and change the background color here to secondary. Yeah, that's good actually. Now I think the styling is over. We should get back to the coding section. Right over here, we have this typing here. We're going to use this to determine if we are typing or we are not typing actually, and we can change what's going to be displayed here. So to achieve that, I'm going to use JavaScript here and type some conditional rendering here. If typing is true, then show us, let me grab this and grab this and paste it over here. If it's true, show this. If it's not, show this. And as you can see, the placeholder is invisible right now because the typing is false, as we set that over here, and we should change the typing to true when we click on this. So I'm gonna come here and give this plus sign on click function. So right here we're going to set the typing. set typing to true. And if we click here, we can see that the plus sign, the plus button is going to get invis, and we get the placeholder. So here in placeholder we need some things to be declared on the tag itself. For example, we need to change we need to actually add the intro text here to the tags. So to achieve that, we're going to need to use a key up functionality here. So let's do that. Right over here, I'm going to type on key up and give that function which we are going to declare right over here right now. And on key, or maybe I should call this input on key up, like that. Ignore the error for now because we don't have the function here, and we need this, so it's going to be good now. Right here we're going to check if which button is pressed on the keyboard. If it's enter, if we're going to add this inside the tags, but before that we're going to check if it's already exists or not. If it's already existed, we do nothing. If it's not, then we add this. If we press escape, the placeholder gets invisible and the button shows up. And if the placeholder gets out of focus like this, if we click anywhere else and it lost the focus, the button should pop up and it should get the placeholder should get invisible. So let's do that. Right here we're going to check fe.key, if I'm not mistaken. Let's check this inside the browser. console.log e. Let's see what's inside e. So refresh this here. You don't have to deal with this for now. As you can see, if I press something over here, for example, I'm going to press backspace, we get an event right over here, and the code and the key. We could change the key. We could inspect the key and see what's being pressed for the moment. I'm going to use the key here. So if e.key equals to enter, do something, we need the key pressed for the escape, and I think we're going to need that for other reasons, I guess. Let's have an else here, so we can use that later. If it's enter, we're going to check if we have this text entered here inside our tags or not. Before that, we're going to create a reference to this one using use ref function hook, actually use ref, and use ref is actually kind of equal to document.query selector and I don't know, tag. You can see that it's kind of like this. When you do this, you get the node itself. Use ref is kind of like that too. So it's going to be const input. I'm going to name it input ref, referring to this one. Input ref equals to use ref and null. We're going to set that null for now and give it value over here on the target. So yes, that's it. Set the ref to input ref, and it links this to this one. So right over here, we're going to check we're going to take the text and keep it inside a variable. I'm going to declare a variable called maybe text. Yeah, that's simple. And get the text from the input ref. Input ref.current. Under references, we could actually come over here and check this, so we get a better understanding. On the tags with the content editable, you cannot get the value because there is no value for a span. Actually, it's not like jQuery, you know. You should get the content of the tag as a text. If we get the inner HTML, if we press anything, if we press enter, we get a text with something like this because there's an enter inside it. We should get the raw text uh, from the tag itself, so it doesn't have any line breaks or any BR or any HTML inside it. In order to do that, we're going to use I think it's content or something like that. Let me check that. It's text content like this, and it gets what's inside the content editable tag. So we store that into this variable, and we're going to do some checking here. If the text is not empty, that's the first checking. We're going to say where, and actually there's a include function on the array if I'm not mistaken. So tags dot includes if it contains the text. If it does not contain the text, we move on to the next step. This, I think there is an extra, yeah, or let me check what's wrong here. Yeah, there's extra equal sign here. So if the text is not already inside the tags and the text is not empty, we're going to add that inside the tags and clear this one. So in order to do that, we're going to say set tags to, we could say this, get whatever inside the tags and add the text to it. It's fine, it's working. There is another workaround around it that you could say set tags and pass the tags as a variable to the namespace. If we do this, we are always guaranteed to get the latest values inside the tags. It's always guaranteed. So I'm going to use this and return the same expression as we use top text and oh, sorry, it's going to be tags and it's going to be text. So it works fine right now. Let's check what is going to happen here. Yeah, if I press everything, for example, I'm going to repeat React, you can see nothing happens. New tag, it's working, but it's not getting cleared. So we should do that over here and say, let me copy this and equals to empty. So oops, yeah, it's working right now. So as you can see, some other tag React, it does not enter that. Shine, it does not enter that. 1 2 3, yeah, it's working for now. So let's get back here and work on the escape button. If the user presses the escape button, we're going to set the typing to the false. So the placeholder get disappeared and the button pops up. Set typing to false and we're good to go. Let's get back over here, refresh the page. React is good. Yeah, it's working. If I press escape, yeah, we get this button. So let's define the unblur function. Unblur is basically when happens when the component or the element gets out of focus, like this. If I press anywhere else, you can see that there is no typing indicator here, so it's out of focus. We're going to do this over here on the input and say unblur, set typing to false, and that's good. We don't have to clear this one because when the typing is false, the whole element is going to get disappeared and get out of the DOM tree. So then we don't need to set this to clear or empty. So let's check that out. New tag, it's good. If I press anywhere else on this page, you can see that we lost focus and the placeholder get disappeared. So there's a little bit dysfunctionality here. When we press this, we don't get the focus on the placeholder. In order to do that, we can do a little trick here, because when the typing gets set to true, it takes a second for the DOM element or for the React or for the JavaScript to insert this element inside the DOM. So if we come right down here and say, yeah, set the focus on the input ref, it's going to give us a null, because it takes a time to this be inserted into the DOM, and the reference gets the actual value here. So it's going to be empty and null for the first instantiation. But we could set a timeout maybe here. Set a timeout on maybe 2 milliseconds, and then say input ref dot current dot focus, and like that. If we come back over here and press, you can see it gets the focus onto the element. So right now we're going to code this. If we click on any of this, nothing happens. We're going to make it take that tag out of the tags elements and actually delete that. So how to do that? We should define that inside here where the tags are declared. So unclick, we're going to do this. Set tags to a filter of the tags itself. You know, when you filter, you get to decide which elements to remove from an array. So we're going to do that right now, and say, we're going to filter the tags over here. So tags.filter, and we pass the t here to the namespace, and say if the tag return the value, or include, actually it says include or does not include, you can return true or false. We're going to say if the return the result of this equation, t equals not to the cannot use t here because we have t already over here. I'm going to name this tag. So if the tag is not equals to the t, you can see we pass the t over here. So if the tag is not equal to the t, there's equation, it's going to be true every time unless we get to the one we clicked, and that one is going to be returned, that one is causing this equation to be false, and hence it's not going to return that, and it's actually get deleted. So if we save this and come over here and click on any of those, you can see that the tag gets removed, and I'm going to add another one maybe, and another one, and so on. You can see that. So now we have this, we're going to need a functionality that if the text is clear here, that it's empty, and we press backspace, we should be able to edit this, the last element actually. So that's a good idea. That's what you get when you use that inside forums and inside the actually everywhere you use this kind of tag organization. You're going to need this functionality, which if you press backspace, you get to edit the last tag or the element you entered. So in order to achieve that, we're going to come over here, maybe on, yeah, right over here. We're going to check if the pressed key is the backspace. So I'm changing this to if, and e.key is equals to backspace, and right down here. If it's backspace and the text inside the input is empty, so I'm going to check it over here. If input ref, we could use that over here actually. So input ref dot current dot content text content. Yeah, it's text content. It's not empty. It's empty actually. And let me see. The tags are there is actually. We should check that to see if there is actually any tag that we could edit. So we're going to check that if tags dot length is greater than 0, that there is actually a tag here. So if all these conditions met, we come down here and say we need to check another thing, and that's going to be edit last. Or actually we could not use that here, so you guys can see what happens if we don't use the edit last. So I'm going to skip that for a while and fix that at the end. So right here we're going to say, first of all, we need to pop the last element inside the tags. Actually delete that and get the text from it, so we can enter the text inside the input and actually edit that. It's kind of like editing. So in order to do that, we're going to do this tags dot length -1. With this we get the last tag and store that inside a variable. Let tag equals to this. Oops. And another thing we need to do is to pop the last tag right now, because we got the text over here. So we're going to remove the last tag over here, so using this, saying set tags to tags. We're going to do this to get the last tags and return tags dot filter and maybe t here. T does not equals to tag. Return this equation. And I think it's good to go. Yeah, it's good. And in the next step, we're going to set the text inside the input, same to the tag. So let's go ahead and do that. Input ref dot current text content equals to the tag. Let's check that out. If we're here and I press backspace, you can see that we get the last one, and if I press enter, yeah, we can edit that. So let's change this. As you can see, that's the problem. If I select all and remove them, the conditions met here, and it goes to edit the last one, and that's not good actually. So let's first check this. As you can see, we can already edit that, but there's a little bug and glitch here. So let's fix that. As I told you, we're going to check for the edit last. There is a variable here that we defined and use the state for it. So if the edit last is false, we go ahead and do this. But before that, we set the edit last to true. Or let me say that this way, or write that this way. If edit last is true, we go ahead and do this. Go ahead and do this. Yep. And if it's not true and it's false, we go ahead and make it to the change that to the true. Sorry. Set edit last to true. By doing this, we actually fix the problem over here. And as you can see, let me add some tags. Tag 1, tag 2, tag 3. And right here, I write something and I Control A, delete. Nothing happens. And if I press the backspace again, I get to edit the last tag and it's, oh oops, I pressed wrong key. And if I get to press the last tag, and here you go, you can edit that. There is still a little bit problem here, and that's it. That's right here. If we get to edit the last tag, the pointer, the type indicator goes here. We need that to be right over here at the end of the tag. So how to do this? There's a little bit snippet code I use for this, so let me go ahead and grab that and paste it here. There you go, it's this snippet here, so right there, this one makes it, actually creates a selecting range on the content editable elements, and using the select range sets the pointer, or actually the typing indicator, at the end of the tag. So let's test it actually. Tag 2, tag 3, and if I press backspace, yeah, as you can see, the indicator goes right at the end. So here it is, the custom tag component using React. Feel free to comment what you want me to make videos about, and I'm working on my English, and I'm improving it. So thanks for your support, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. New videos are coming, so hang on tight.